Let's go on to maybe one of my top 10 favorite Yes songs.
You're kidding,
I really love this track, man. I think
it's rocking.
I love it. Don't tell me what I love and what I don't love.
Dude, I said it's rocking. I didn't disagree with you. I just said it's rocking. It's not by my favorite Yes song by any means, but it's rocking. Straight ahead rock and roll.
Right here. Ready?
Fat sound. What I grab onto is the organ.
They opened a lot of shows with this song.
This does remind me of
Going for the One?
Yes. Going for the One reminds me of this song. Yes. Which I love that song. Take it up the next stop, Adele. With your voice.
Another vocal. Seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
How does she sing? Ring and ring. Secrets from you.
great melody.
Warm side tower.
Yeah. The bass part.
Please reveal the outspoken true.
It's true, as you wish.
White had to
yeah.
learn that. Chris.
Yeah, I love those runs. Chris up and down the fretboard. That's classic Chris Squire jamming,
Right.
man. It's the key. It's the organ that's holding this down.
Yeah.
The other two are just jamming
Usually it's
out.
Rick going off. He's the one holding them together.
Yes.
I just love this. This is one of those where, okay, they could play this for 10 minutes, you know. Like, I don't know. It's just that wall there at the end of just Steve and Chris going off and Rick doing it. Dun, 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 dun. It always gives me a good feeling going out of the album. So as much kind of
it's a jam.
as much
for sure.
chaos as this
They
album is, you know, I don't know. That one kind of holds me together.
Well, I mean, that one's the most straight ahead, and it's got sections in it that are just like that.
Yeah, like I said, Alan White had to learn that.
Like, oh my god, that part drives me crazy. I'm like, what are they doing? How do you learn that? How did they compose it? What is it? How are they conceiving of this? You know, parts of it are 7, and then it moves to 8 halfway through it, and like,
and
I don't
hearing
know, man.
hearing interviews with John, the way he kind of directs people is like, oh, I want it to sound kind of like this, you know, just uses those words that kind of drive me crazy. Is like, you had to
Khatru. Right. I want it to sound like a Siberian Khatru.
But they do something. They figure it out. But anyway, that was Siberian Khatru. That was Close to the Edge. That was a seminal prog rock band album by a seminal prog rock band, and we had to do it. Now, here's where we piss people off. This is probably my 5th favorite Yes album, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
5th or 6th, maybe
something
6th.
like that. It's. I don't know. I haven't ranked them all exactly, but yeah, it's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah.
I it helps again to steep yourself in it and to.
But it's chaos, man. This album, you lost a band member because of this album. It was chaos putting it together. I mean, it was literally, it was just hard as hell. You know, they made it hard on. Luckily, they had Eddie Offord there to kind of keep it together. You know, and keep everything organized. But it was just, I don't get, and here's my whatever. I don't get the praise it gets. I don't get the overall, like, you know, exaltation that this album gets. But that's just me.
I think as far as I can tell, it's mainly, you know, side 1 that gets most of the, you know, the kudos and the praise. And then I think, you know, rightly, I think the beginning of And You and I is really beautiful. And, but I think it's just the ambition.
Yeah.
The kind of the balls, right? The gall to go out and actually, you know, to conceive of this, to put it together, and then to, you know, to release it. But obviously, a lot of people liked it because, you know, it's their best-selling album. And
no, I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just telling you how I think about it. I don't get it, you know, so to speak. So
yeah, I know. We often have different tastes than I think. You know,
we got different ideas about this album too in different sections, obviously. So
yeah. Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah. So I'm glad we did this album. Thanks for inviting me to listen to this one. I it's an album that I hadn't really steeped myself in, just because it is challenging.
Yeah.
You know, it's just conceptually, it's
Well, it doesn't.
The first track is 18 minutes. You know,
As we noticed,
takes a commitment.
It doesn't flow. To me, it doesn't flow smoothly as some of their albums do. There's, and their albums get out there at times, and I think a lot of their other albums, to me, flow better than this album does as a whole. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it takes me a little bit longer to understand it. I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah, and again, for me, it really helps me to be able to understand the meter, right? The count. Okay, when is the next phrase coming? When's the next beat? And so that is challenging, I think, about this album, right? At least for me, and Anyway, but it's there. It's kind of like I think you'd mentioned Dark Side of the Moon, that it's kind of the seminal. At the time, it's these kind of mile markers in the music industry and kind of in Western pop music history. These are kind of two kind of mileposts,
right?
And there's a lot of albums that are like that, and we don't necessarily hit on all of them, but this is one that I think we like better than a lot of those kind of seminal albums. Although it doesn't, just because it's seminal as far as and really meaningful as far as the general public, doesn't mean it's gonna be an album that we enjoy, right? And this one is this kind of skirts the big. At the edge of, it's close to what we like, while also being something I think is close to what a lot of people like. I think there's probably not a whole lot of people who actually bought the album who really dig it too. I think a lot of people bought it because it was so popular, and they probably heard "And You and I" on the radio and were like, "Oh my God!" Blah blah blah.
Well. Let's go to an album that is not a seminal album, but for us,
culturally meaningful.
It's a badass album.
Yeah, I think this album has a lot to say, right? It has a lot to say. It's Rupert Hines.
Yes, it is.
It's using a pseudonym,
right.
And he's got a lot to say, and him and his lyricist Jeanette Obstage, is that how you say it? Yeah, who are both now passed, strangely enough. Anyway, hope to see you next time.
Yep.
Right? Thanks for joining us this time. Please hit subscribe.
Hit a bell.
Blah blah blah.
Hit a tubular bell.
All those YouTube things. So. Thanks for joining us. We love you guys. Anyway, his name is Bell.
He is Keith, and we will.
And we're Renjeaux.
Be back.
We listen to cool
someday.
albums. We'll see you next time, man.
Bye.
Okay. Love y'all.
Bye.